Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, hi, my name is Ronelle. I'm a stay-at-home mother raising 5 kids. Well, now 4. One is out the house already. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing our move to the USA. Before we get into the video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe down below. Ring the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a video. And I thank you very much for your support in advance. So with that said, let's get straight into it. My husband, my son and I moved to the United States in 1999. We started off in Baltimore, Maryland, and he was working there. And we stayed there for approximately 4 months. For me, it was a huge difference. For the mere fact is that I had no friends. We didn't have no friends. We didn't have no family. We didn't know anybody. I was like stuck in the house every day, whole day, maybe just to bring Liam outside to play. At this point, Liam was only 2 years old. And I did become very sad to the point of depression because I had nobody to talk to. I was constantly missing home. And I was also guilted for the mere fact that I felt I ripped Liam away from my parents, because at the time he was the only grandchild and they were so close to him. Liam was their life, and as I say, I miss them myself personally so much. My parents are my everything. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be who I am today. They're so supportive. They support me in everything I do. They're there for me every time I need them, or every time we need them. They've always been there for us. I always say I'm the luckiest person in the world to have such good parents. And honestly, I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So Maryland was a very nice place. As I said, I didn't go out that much. We did go out during the summertime. I know we were there in the summertime. And we did go to a lot of concerts in the park, which was absolutely amazing. It was so nice. And just being out was, nice. So the thing that stands out to me in Maryland is the one night my husband brought a friend over and his girlfriend. So we got chatting and I was in the middle of cooking. So I went to the kitchen and she followed me. So as I'm standing by the stove and I'm busy cooking, she says to me, without any hesitation or anything, not even giving me any kind of heads up or anything, she says, "Oh, Clark and I would like you to have a threesome." Me? And she's like, "Yeah." At this point, when she clarified what she wanted, it's like everything was just drained from my body. I switched the stove off. I went to the lounge and I just sat next to my husband. He's like, "Oh, Ronelle, are you okay?" I didn't even answer at that time. I'm literally in shock. So I went upstairs and I went into the bathroom and I'm washing my face, trying to readjust. I'm literally in shock. This person wants me to have a threesome with weight. So I come downstairs and my husband says, "Ronelle, are you okay? You look flushed." I'm like, "No, I'm fine." He says, "Are you sure you're fine?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine." I said, "No, I do feel like I've got a bit of a headache." So anyway, Noel let his friends go. And then when they left, and I told him, when my husband goes quiet, not a good sign. He was pissed. And I'm talking about he was mad. He starts shouting at me. Why didn't I tell him when they were here? I'm like, "I'm not going to tell you because I know how you are and you're going to cause a big performance." And I don't feel that was necessary because I don't know if Clark was in on this or she was just in on it by herself. So the next night he came home. He says, "Now, I confronted Clark and I told Clark about the situation, and he himself was so apologetic. And he did explain to me that she is the one that instigates all this and plans it in." I'm like, "Don't need to say anything any further. I'm good. I am good." So that was that. And it was it was an eye-opener, let's put it that way. So after about 4 months, we moved to Virginia Beach. And because my husband saw what a difficult time I was having by myself, so he decided to move us in a hotel. It was captain's quarters and it was literally on the beach. And you know, with the hotel, it's like you got to pay on a daily basis. So he went and he spoke to the manager of the hotel and he explained to him like the situations, like he works out, I'm by myself. Is it okay if we pay on a monthly basis and we can stay here? He was like, absolutely, sure, no problem. And he gave us the best room in the hotel, which was literally downstairs. And this was the hotel. And then there was a walkway and there was the beach, which fitted Liam and I perfectly because during the day we could go, he could play in the sand, play by the beach. There was a park not so far away, so that suited us absolutely fine. And then I still was very, very sad and still had a lot of this guilt. So my husband said to me, he says, okay, I can't see you in a state like this. Go home for a little while. I was like, oh, absolutely, thank you, and I was gone. And as soon as I got home, I think I lasted probably 2 weeks and I was miserable because I missed my husband. So my dad could see this, and the one night he sat me down and he says, you know what, Nello, you cannot go on like this. What you gotta understand is that your parents are only borrowed to you. You can't have this guilt of not being with your parents and you feeling like you've taken Liam away. He says there's sacrifices in life you have to make. And this speech was so hard for me because it's like we were such a close-knit family. Everywhere my parents were, I was there. I didn't do anything without their consent. Even as a grown woman, I would always run things by them. But then after he spoke to me, it hit me to say, well, I'm married. I have my own life. I need to make those sacrifices for my son and my husband. So came back to the United States and Noelle had set up an apartment for us and it was absolutely beautiful. And then I eventually met a friend and her name was, we'll call her Jane. And she was so nice. We actually lived in an apartment complex that was full of military families. And this branch of military was the Navy. I met Jane when her daughter was playing. Our apartment faced a pond. And they had ducks in this pond and whatever. So a lot of people came to feed the ducks. So the one day I met her and Liam was also feeding the ducks and I was sitting on the patio. And she says to me, but what smells so good? And I'm like, oh no, I just finished cooked dinner. And she was like, wow, that really smells good. So we got chatting. She asked me about my accent. That's how all conversation starts with me. And we became very, very good friends. And I miss her so much because she really was a good friend. Then we ended up going to New York for a weekend. And we went to a family reunion, which these people were also South Africans, but I didn't know who they were. So I was sitting, this reunion was in New Jersey. So I was sitting and just by myself, and this one woman approached me and she says, is your mother so-and-so? So I'm like, yes. She says, do you know we were in the same home together? I was like, no way. She says, yes. And then she started naming my aunts and I was blown away. This is like a world away, a world away. My mom and her went home at the age of, I think, 8 or 9 years old. And this is like years ago. So she was like, you look so much like your mom. I can't believe how fate works. And we were going on and on and on. So I actually felt so good knowing at least now I can connect with somebody. And what makes things even better is that her whole family, they're all South Africans, and the sister, one of the sisters actually lived where I live. So I met her and at the end of the day, we all became like family. So I had somebody now to connect with, which was absolutely fantastic. So it all ended up good because I became the cook. Everybody misses South African food so much, and the curry and everything. So I was the one, I was basically the chef, which I didn't mind at all. So anyway, we went home that night, and where we were staying, the lady said to me, she says, now go out, you deserve a break. I'll take care of Liam. So I'm like, okay, fine. And we went to a club, and it was like mind-blowing, just the way you see it in the movies. That's the way I saw it. And there were 2 levels, so we ended up going to the lower level where they were playing jazz, because my husband absolutely loves jazz. So as we were sitting, I think we were there for probably not even an hour. Then I get a tap on my shoulder. So I turn around, and this girl says to me, are you Bruce's sister? That was it for me, you guys. That was it for me. I'm like a world away from South Africa. First, I meet somebody that knows my mother from childhood. Then I'm in a nightclub with thousands of people. And this girl sees me in a nightclub, which is pitch black, and taps me on my shoulder and asks me, is Bruce my brother? Which Bruce is my brother? This is too much. I said to my husband, I'm ready to go home. I'm not even kidding you. I'm talking about go home, back to Virginia Beach. We left the nightclub, we picked up my son, packed our bags, and we were out of there. It was way too much for me, way too much. So that was like mind blowing. So we got back to Virginia, and I think it was about a week later, my husband got a job to go in Tampa, Florida. It was Jacksonville because that's where Liam got hurt and CPS called on me. So that's when we went to Jacksonville, Florida. And we ended up staying there for about a month or 2. Then we came back. And that is when we found out I was pregnant. And you guys, I didn't know because I was pregnant, because I was very irregular, and it just didn't seem fitting at the time. So the one day I did decide to take a pregnancy test, and lo and behold, I was pregnant. So I went to my first gynae appointment, and he says to me, oh, you're gonna have to go to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, but that's weird. One day, I just wasn't feeling myself. And then my husband said to me, no, we gotta go to the doctor. So at this point, I didn't know about urgent cares or stuff like that. So we went straight to the hospital, and still hurts up to this day. So when we got to the hospital, I was having a miscarriage. I'm so sorry, you guys. So at this point, I had literally just blacked out. I was so sad because I didn't have anybody. I had no family, no friends. My parents weren't here. I literally just lost it. Absolutely just lost it. I can't tell you what they did after they told me I was miscarrying. My husband just literally took over everything. He literally took over everything. Up to today, I can't tell you. It's like, I don't know if I've blocked it out of my mind or what it was. So that's when I fell into a heavy depression. Absolutely heavy. Because now I'd lost a baby, which they said I was just over 4 months. And I just, for me, there was no coming back. Because like everything now was coming back, and why am I here? Why is this happening? It's not supposed to be happening, and stuff like that. So anyway, my husband did his best. He absolutely did his best. You know, I think we spoke about it maybe, I'd say twice. It hurt him so much. It hurt me so much because nobody should ever go through that. Not ever. I'm sorry, guys. So anyway, he ended up getting sent back to Florida, but Tampa this time. So he told his boss, look, my wife has, just gone through this and I can't do that right now. So the boss was very understanding, so we didn't end up going. So as time went by, I think probably 6 months had gone by. And that's when we got the news I was pregnant again. And it was a total joy, absolute total joy. And I made sure that I took care of myself. But what we believe and we found out years later was that the reason for my miscarriage was because there was something wrong with the water. And where I'm from back home, we drink water straight out of the tap, not a problem, But over here, everybody drinks water, bottled water and all this, and I didn't do that. So with that said, we ended up having a beautiful baby girl. We named her Leah. And mind you, she was the only one that he was present for her birth, because every other one is always working out of town, whatever. But I also tell you guys, what a major difference giving birth in South Africa to giving birth in the United States. It was literally a flip of a coin. That's how different it was. It was totally different. This time, Leah's birth was 100% better than Liam's birth. Absolutely. So at this point now, I made it my duty. I went and I got my driver's license. My husband got me a car, and the only difficult thing for me was driving the opposite side of the road. At this stage now, I've been in the United States, 4 years? I think probably about 4 years now. But I still, it's like, you drive, you're going to take, pay attention to the road, you're going to do whatever you need to do. So I had to eventually just bear everything down and get myself a license, because I had to go to doctor's appointments, pediatrician appointments, every different thing. My son was going to start school soon, so that's all I had to do. So then he did start school, and that's another thing. The schooling system is completely different. Completely different. All our schools back home wore uniforms. In Virginia Beach, I know a whole lot of other states, but in Virginia Beach, they wear clothes to school, which personally for me is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. No matter my son was only one in school at the time, but still every day, oh, what are you going to wear today? Okay, now you can't wear this because you wore this 2 days ago. It's a pain. It's a pain, absolute pain. I don't ever. Thank you, Jesus, they wear mobile and they wear uniforms to school, because that is so much better than having to wear clothes to school. Absolutely 100%. So eventually now, I just given birth to Leah, and I think probably 6 months down the road, this boss of my husband came to me and said, you know what, I really need you to go to Tampa, Florida. So he says, look, this time my wife has just given birth. I cannot leave her right now. So he was like, no, you don't have to leave her, take her with. I do have a condo on a golf course, not far from the job sites, but it'll take you probably 20-25 minutes to and from. Please take your family with you. So it was like, okay, fine, not a problem. We went. We stayed there for about 3 months, which was absolutely fantastic. And we came back, and we didn't even go anywhere after that. I think we stayed in Virginia all those years. Yeah. We stayed in Virginia for, let me see, 5 or 6 years. And as I say, I love Virginia. I absolutely love Virginia. Then my parents would come every year to visit us, especially in the summertime, you know, where it was nice weather. And we did a lot of traveling. So that was nice. And then we traveled to Wyoming. And at this part of our life, I was six or 7 months. No, 8 months. 7 months pregnant with my third child, besides a miscarriage. I was pregnant with my third child. So we decided to drive. My husband, myself, Liam, Leah, and I'm pregnant. You guys, it took us 2 days to get to Wyoming. My husband and I alternated driving back and forth. He took so many hours, I took so many hours. By the time we got to Wyoming, my feet were swollen. My whole body was swollen. I was heavy. I couldn't even walk. My husband had to literally carry me from the car into the house. That is how swollen I was. Then we stayed. I couldn't take it in Billings, Montana. I could not take it. I'm sorry. I lasted there maximum 4 weeks. Maximum. And I feel bad for this now, but at that time I didn't feel bad. I packed up my kids. I couldn't get a flight. This is how desperate I was to get out of Billings, Montana. Couldn't get a flight. I ended up getting a ticket on a Greyhound bus. Worst mistake ever, but it got me home. It took us days to get home. Days. And we got to Raleigh, North Carolina. And don't they put on prisoners that have just been released from prison? My nerves were finished. I'm sitting in a seat, my son's sitting in a seat, and I've got Leah on my lap. And at this stage of the game, I think Leah was probably about 3 or 4 years old. And you have no control of the kids, especially when you're traveling so far. And as we got out of picking all these people up, I think we were drawing closer to Richmond, Virginia, and Leah was kicking the seat in front of her. This guy is full of tattoos, and he gives me one look. Every part of me just froze. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was petrified. I just couldn't wait to either get off this bus or just maybe on the next stop I should get off. I was petrified. And anyway, we eventually made it back to Virginia, and I eventually got the phone call from my husband. He was so worried. He had practically half his workforce looking for me. And I think I got into town probably like 12 o'clock that night. This family friend of ours picked us up from the bus station. And that when I did hear from him, trust me, I got a mouthful from him. Mouthful, but I just could not handle it anymore. Billings, Montana, just not for me. Not for me. The problem that I did have, a major problem, was that there was no life. There was absolutely no life there. You didn't see people out in the streets. It was just like dead, absolutely dead. That's just not for me. So came back, and I don't even think we stayed in Virginia much longer after that. No, we didn't. Kaylin was born about 4 weeks later. Yeah. Kaylin was born, and at this point, oh, the ironic thing about Kaylin is that when I got to the hospital and they were ready to deliver Kaylin, this doctor walks in and the nurse is busy talking to me, and he says, but I've heard that voice before. So I didn't know he was talking about me. So he comes around and he says, are you serious? And I'm wondering, what the hell is this man talking about? Because first of all, I don't know who you are. And secondly, it's like, why are you asking me, am I serious? He says, you from South Africa, right? So I said, yes. He says, don't you remember me? I'm like, no. He says, I'm Dr. Michaels. I delivered your other baby. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He says, so is this going to be as easy as the last one? I'm like, I'll be damned. I'm talking about, this is like 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Now he's coming and he's going to deliver Kaylin. And she was like easy breezy. And unfortunately, my husband was not with me because we didn't have anybody to look after the kids. And he was looking after the kids at home. And I get home, he decided to come to the hospital because I said I'm ready to give birth, and then he couldn't get anybody. And then he stayed at home with the kids. So when I did give birth, I called him and I said, okay, baby is here. He left eggs boiling on the stove. Realized halfway to the hospital, drove back home again. The house was stinking. Absolutely a terrible smell. That 3 days later, after I get home, the smell was still lingering in this house. And I had to bring this newborn baby into this house. No. So anyway, we actually stayed, I think we stayed in Virginia for a few more months, and then we ended up in Texas. You guys, I do not like Texas. It is definitely not for me. No. For so many reasons, but Texas is definitely not for me. The best thing that ever happened to me in Texas is the people that I met. I'm talking about people that were so influential in my life, that actually brought me to the Lord, for number one, that showed me what I'm capable of. I made such good friends in Texas. They are amazing. I wouldn't say that I made friends that are my age. I always seem to have gotten along much better with much older women. And I love those women. I absolutely love those women. They taught me so much. They guided me in such ways that I could have made the wrong decision. But I am and will always be eternally grateful for Roberta and Miss Jean. They were instrumental in my life, and that was the best thing that came out of Texas. You guys, my friend came to visit me from London, and it was so nice to see her. We were friends from school, and the one night we were sitting in my apartment and we were talking about, have we been in a car accident? And I'm like, no, I've never ever been in a car accident, and blase. So my husband says to me, comes over and says, oh, we're having a Christmas party and we need to go. And I'm like, no, we don't have anybody to look after the kids and I don't want to go. So she said to me, no, you don't ever go out. You go, I'll take care of the kids. So my husband was like, yes, come on, there was a perfect opportunity, let's go. The next day I went out and I bought myself a new outfit. I was ready to go, I was excited. It's like, okay, it's just like my husband and I. No, it's just our time together. I was just the nines. We went, excuse me, and this was probably, we left home probably 8:30 at night, and the party was maybe 1.5 hours away. It was in Galveston. We were living in Baytown, and party's in Galveston. You guys, this is my fault because of the mere fact, of the situation I was put in. I never ever liked wearing seatbelts. It's always made me uncomfortable. So this night was a night that was going to be tested. I went and I bought myself an outfit. I was ready to go. This was the first time my husband and I were going to ever be out alone without the kids. So I was really looking forward to that quality time. So we decided to go. And we're driving, we're chatting, I'm on my phone, I'm busy doing stuff. And then as time went on, I think we were driving for probably, I want to say 45 minutes. And I'm busy on my phone, and I don't know, but the last thing I remember was just seeing lights headed straight towards us. And that was it. Some car actually came and hit us head on. I went, so that's why I said to you guys, excuse the mark on my face here. This is what I got. One of the injuries I got from the accident. I don't know how, what, when. I don't know. I just saw these bright lights and I was gone. The next thing I remember was my husband screaming my name. At this point, I just opened the door and I was starting to run to see now where's this other car. And this guy just came and he pulled me and he said to me, you don't want to see that. And at this point now, it's like, what the hell? What just happened, And I came around to my husband's side, but he's stuck. The whole steering wheel is up against his chest. He can't get out. He's stuck in the truck. So at this point now, I didn't know the severity of all. And I'm like literally bleeding from everywhere. My arms, I apparently had gone through the windshield. And I'm talking about I was hanging, not literally went out, but I was through the windshield, that half my body was on the hood of the truck. And at that point, we were driving a Ford Expedition, which saved our lives. So anyway, police came and everything, and they eventually managed to get my husband out the car. And they ended up putting both of us in the back of a cop car. Then the ambulance came. And then they were like, she needs to go. And I'm like, I'm fine. Apparently I was not fine because all this adrenaline was pumping through my body. I thought I felt fine. So they called a helicopter, the airlift. I, at this point, am like feeling embarrassed. But remember when you're young, what does your mother always tell you? Always wear clean underwear because you never know what will happen. And it's exactly, that is exactly what happened. And thank God I had clean underwear. So anyway, my husband is performing. No, I need to go with her. I really need. That's my wife. I can't lose her. I'm like, what the hell? Lose me? How are you going to lose me? I'm fine. So anyway, they airlifted me to the closest hospital, which was Galveston. And you guys, get this. I was airlifted, okay, from the accident. Fast forward about 6 months later. No, I lie. Four months later, I get a bill from these people that airlifted me. $12,500 for the helicopter ride, which I didn't even feel, for number one. And that's a helicopter ride that I didn't even feel. and that was less than 5 minutes. What? $12,500, which I had to pay? No, impossible. But anyway, when I get to the hospital, it was like truly in the movies. You got a whole squad of nurses and doctors waiting for you. They come, they rush. And I'm looking at these people, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm feeling so foolish right now because I feel fine. I feel fine. So they take me into one of the rooms, and next minute I see scissors. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh no, we got to take off your clothes and we got to see all your injuries. I'm like, no, hold on, I just bought these clothes. I'll take it off for you. They were like, no, ma'am, you just be still, we got this. And I'll never forget, I also had on gold bracelets, which my parents bought for me. They got I don't know what they got, and next minute this year, clipping and clipping. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. This can't be happening. And I'm laying there and these people are cleaning me. At this point, I still can't feel no pain. Still cannot feel no pain. And I'm like, no, my clothes. I just bought those clothes, and there I'm seeing my clothes all cut up and put on the side, full of blood. Full of blood. This is now at the point where I can see now I am bleeding a hell of a lot. So I got this other nurse that's cleaning up my whole face, and I tell you, I had gashes everywhere. I had gashes. So anyway, oh, this is when they said something's not right. And they said, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yes. And that's when everything like just became real for me. It really became real for me. I don't know if they did blood tests or how they found out, but I knew I was pregnant. So they got the machine, the ultrasound machine, and they started now doing an ultrasound. Couldn't get a heartbeat. Couldn't get a heartbeat. So they called for a gynecologist to come down to the emergency room. So he came, he did everything, nothing, absolutely nothing. At this point now, I'm worried about my husband worried about me. Now at this point, it's like, am I gonna lose this baby too? So anyway, they started cleaning me up, stitching me, sending me for x-rays because apparently one of my kneecaps was dislocated or something of the sort. And at this point now, I'm just worried. I'm thinking about my other kids at home, and I'm like, just being the worst patient ever. And I'm performing with them. I just need to go home. I need to go be with my kids and just performing. So I saw the two doctors talking, and they decided to. This doctor said to him, oh, I'm sorry, it's done. There's nothing I can do. Hi guys, I'm so sorry about that. I just had to take a minute to myself because it just brought back certain emotions that was just so hard. But anyway, I'm gonna leave the video here for now, and we'll catch up on the next one tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button so you'll be notified each time I upload. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this video, and I love you guys so much. See you in the next one. Bye.